Hey everyone, Selena here, Selena Baca Crochet. I am here to tell you guys about some new patterns that are now in my shop. They've been out for probably a little over a week now. And I have been doing so many different things, and I was sick, and then we had an unexpected home repair. And I mean, just it's been so crazy that I haven't had a minute to sit here and tell you guys about these new patterns and just answer any questions that you guys may have about them. So if you are watching live, come on over, say hey, say hello, tell me where you're viewing from. If you guys have any questions about these patterns, let me know. I hate to just write patterns and then put them out there and not say anything about them, just because there's so much that goes into every single pattern that I write. And I'm super stoked about them, and I just want to make sure that you guys get all the details. So I've got links for everything that I'm going to talk about here in the video description. But first and foremost, if you guys are not already in my community on Facebook, there's a link to join. Come on over and join. That's where I post. That's the only place I post my sales, like the current flash sale that's going on right now. So if you guys are watching live, definitely come on over and check that out, because I've got a 50% off flash sale that's happening right now. But I typically host at least one flash sale every week in my group. So if you miss this one, just, make sure you keep those notifications on because there'll be another one, I promise. But I only do that right there in my group. I also do things like we talk about new patterns. I tell you guys what I'm doing. I ask for pattern testers. For example, there's a few patterns that are open for testing right now. So again, if you're not already in the community, come on over and join. If you're in the community and you haven't seen any of these updates, make sure you're turning them on. All right. Okay. Actually, I see a lot of you guys are here, like Amanda Woodbury. So thanks for coming on over and saying, hey, it's good to see you guys here. Linda's here. Good to see you. Angela's checking in. Cynthia's here from Houston, Texas. Thanks so much for joining. Teresa's here. Thank you for being here. Kimberly's here all the way from the UK, one of my favorite places ever. Thanks for checking in. Aw, Angela loves the ACA. I'm so glad. The American Crochet Association is where I spend almost all of my time now. So if you guys are not part of the American Crochet Association, all you got to do is just find that on the web. We've got all the things and all the places. If you guys have any questions about the American Crochet Association or our current Crochet Along and Stitch Challenge, just let me know. Or take Angela's word for it. She loves the ACA. And we also have someone checking in from the Philippines. Wow, thanks for being here. Awesome. Okay, guys, so the first thing that I want to show you is just my general Ravelry store. If you guys dig my crochet pattern work, this is where I post all of my crochet patterns that are available. So link for this shop is down below. So definitely take a peek, because there are a lot more patterns that are new and listed there that we are not going to go in depth today. So if you see anything you like, click on over, okay? So the first brand new pattern just released, been out for a minute, have not chatted with you guys about it yet, is the Elm Placemat and Tablerunner. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Where do I start with this? Let me start with the yarn that I chose. The yarn that I chose to make this is from Lion Brand Yarn. It's called Lion Brand Yarn Rewind Tape Yarn. Man, sorry, I butchered that just a little bit. This yarn's been out for a minute. I've been using it for quite a few years, and I have to say I absolutely love this yarn for things like this. So if you're not familiar with what a tape yarn is, it's yarn that, in my opinion, it kind of feels, okay, first and foremost, okay, tape yarn, what does that mean? It means that it's flat. So it's wide and flat, kind of like tape, kind of like almost measuring tape. This is probably about the width of what that yarn would be, because it's a weight 5 yarn. But it's very thin and very flat. This is not, even though this is a bulky weight number 5 yarn, it is so because of its weight, but it is very flexible. It's very pliable. It's very soft. To me, it feels like a mix between like a fabric paper. That's what it feels like to me. It is a little delicate in that, it's not going to be the most durable thing ever. It doesn't really pass, like, if you have a strand in your hands and you try to break it, you can break it. The reason I think that's important is that this is beautiful. It's very functional. You can absolutely use it in everyday life like this. I just think it's important to note that because I think that it has a particular lifespan. So I don't know if I would throw these in the washer and the dryer every single week. I'm not sure I would do that. But with all of that said, I'm just saying that to give you some context to this yarn. This yarn feels beautiful. This yarn looks beautiful. The texture that this yarn creates is like boutique luxury. Like I saw this in Pier 1 or somewhere super fancy like that. I saw this in Macy's. That's the vibes that it gives. And I really love an economical yarn, something that is priced really nicely, something that, yeah, let's get a little close up on that. Nope, that's as far up as I can go. You'll have to click on over and take my word for it, honestly. So this yarn creates that beautiful texture. It's very light. It just creates such beautiful fabric. So I got this particular color because I wanted something neutral, because me and my household, I'm super bland. I'm super vanilla. Everything that I had, because I've got wood floors throughout my house. It is white. It is black. It is green. What other colors do I go with? Gray. I'm like Batman. Everything needs to be black or really, 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 really dark gray. Like that's my home aesthetic. So when I saw this yarn and when I saw this color, I was like, yep, I know exactly what I'm going to do with this. So what I've been into at this season in my crochet life are different ways that I can decorate with crochet. So really what I did was I just kind of thought about the different spaces in my house where I could incorporate crochet. Maybe there isn't anything that I'm using in a space and maybe I can add something to that space. And this is a great example of that. I don't have a lot of placemats. I do have a lot of table runners. I have a very small dining room table and I have a coffee table. And so for me, a table runner can act as a table runner, or really my kitchen table is so small that this could be 2 placemats and then I could make 2 placemats. So this worked perfectly for me. What I like about this is that I think that table runners it's almost like a shout out to what we used to do with doilies, way back in the day. It's like this nice centerpiece that you put on a table, coffee table, dining room table, entryway table, something like that. I dig that. I don't have a lot of doilies in my space or in my house, but because I like modern spins on things. I like shapes like this, and I like really simple textures, and I like things that are really simplistic. So this is my style. It's just got some very basic stitches. It's a very basic rectangle. It's a slight variation to the pattern in making a placemat and making a table runner. There are very specific directions for each one of those. You do not have to use the yarn that I use. You do not have to use this tape yarn. I suggest it. I think it's beautiful. I think that it really, again, it's economical. It's pretty easy to source. And it just creates such a fantastic fabric. So I really think it makes a space a little more modern, and it's definitely functional. I love putting stuff like this out. So anyway, here it is, the Elm Placemat and Table Runner. I took a few fun pictures just so you can kind of see the scale of it. I mean, it perfectly fits, a plate and some silverware, or if you're like me and you like to have tea parties with your girlfriends, a little teacup and saucer and a little nibble plate and stuff like that. Or you can just have them as like a centerpiece. So anyway, super love this. I was really excited about it. I made, oh my gosh, I think I made like 4 place settings and then 1 table runner. And I love it in my space. I super love it in my space. I love the yarn, love the colors, everything about it. So, all right, let's see who else is here and what you guys are saying. Looks like Terry Sullivan is here. So good to see you. Checking in from New York. Amanda Woodbury says, I need help. I still need help with the clever cap. I think I'm overthinking it. Yeah, I did get your message. Amanda Woodbury's a volunteer pattern tester. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, Amanda, I did see your note. I think it was last week, and I sent you a message back. So reach out because we can get to the bottom of that. Pattern testing is all about asking questions and getting to the bottom of things. And if something doesn't make sense, you may not be the only one who thinks it doesn't make sense. So it's all about kind of getting to the bottom of that. So reach out. Rebecca says, making the Badlands cardigan as I listen to this. Oh man, I hope you totally dig it. I love that cardigan so much. And share some pictures. I can't wait to see what yarn you chose and what fit you're going for. Is it going to be a little more fitted? Is it going to be a little more oversized? I can't wait to see. So share some pictures. And it looks like my friend Daisy is here. Daisy, I have not seen you in a minute. It's so good to see your face here. Thanks for checking in. And Aurora's here. Hey, thank you for being here. All right, so that is one pattern. I think that's everything I wanted to tell you guys about it. Man, it's so hard to put things out, and then all the speed bumps of the world come into play, and I'm like, I didn't tell anyone about this. So thanks for sticking with me, guys. All right, if you guys are just now joining, come on over, say hey, say hello, tell me where you're viewing from. I have published some patterns in the last few weeks that I literally just pushed the, publish button on, and I couldn't stop for a minute to tell you guys about them. So that's what I'm doing now. And I'm just going through 3 of them. So come on over, say hey, say hello, tell me where you're viewing from. And remember, the replay is just as good, I promise. All right, next up on the list is this triangle wall hanging. The first thing I want to say about this is that it is huge. This thing is like, my head would go right about here. So this is like, from where you hang it on the wall, and of course it's not going to be touching the floor. This is like 6.5 feet. It could be like 7 feet. This thing is massive. I actually was inspired to make something massive just because, again, I'm in this home decor theme right now. I'm thinking about how do I incorporate crochet into spaces that looks like it goes there or it's something functional in some way. And I really love macrame. I love the look of it. I love, sometimes we see macrame and it's like this big grand thing. But it's really, it looks simplistic, but it's big in scale. So I kind of took some things that I wanted to see that I like in macrame, and I applied it in this. So again, this thing is big. This plant right here, like I think this is maybe 4 feet, like from here to there. This thing is huge. You can make it in lots of different sizes though. Yarn size is really going to determine, what size this is. So you can use a smaller yarn and make a teeny tiny little one. You could use like thread and make a teensy tiny one, or you can use a larger yarn and a larger hook even than I called for. And make something even bigger if you want. So this is something that's very easy to adapt in terms of size, because there's a very simplistic repeat, and you can either add more as the repeat determines or less as it says. So for this particular piece, yes, I wanted something huge. But the other thing that I was looking for is that I wanted a yarn that looked beautiful, that looked really beautiful by itself. Something that, and is this just me or does everybody do this? There are certain yarns that you're like, I'm getting this because it's beautiful and I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I just love looking at it. I wanted a yarn like that. I wanted a yarn that we love it so much by itself. And then I wanted to come up with a stitch pattern that really highlighted the color and the texture of that yarn that we love. So with this pattern, the fiber, you can use any fiber. You can use acrylic, you can use wool, you can use literally any yarn. Even if you have something super fancy that you're like, man, this was hand dyed and, like underwater sea monkeys made it, and, like it's soup with unicorn hair. You can really take any yarn from a $2 acrylic yarn off the shelf, at the supermarket. If you think if you like it, this is all about what you like. Or you can take that luxury hand-dyed, one-of-a-kind unicorn, seahorse yarn, and you can use that. Really, you can use literally anything, gauge and size to the wind. You can just kind of, have fun with it. Because really, the stitch repeat here mimics, it's the same concept as that Elm Placemat and Tablerunner. I loved that stitch repeat so much that I really wanted to play with it and do different shapes with it and create different things with it. Because in my opinion, sometimes it's really fun to see this fabric that you love, and it's like, oh man, I love this fabric. Like, what else can I do with it? And so sometimes I'll do that as many times as possible. So while this is a triangle, obviously, the Elm Placemat and Tablerunner rectangles. So, you know, it's that same stitch pattern, but you're doing something completely different with it in terms of shape. So the dowel that I used for this, the dowel is that wooden stick, the wooden sticky thing. Actually, Amanda Woodbury, since she was here, I'm picking on her just a little bit. She was one of my pattern testers for this, and she like found a twig in her yard. And I love that it's like misshapen, it's not straight, you know, fantastic. So you can get a dowel from the hardware store. Don't go to the craft store. You're gonna spend like 10 times as much on a stick as you will at, you know, Lowe's or Home Depot or something like that at the hardware store. At the hardware store, this stick was like $2. The same stick at the craft store is like $27.95. And I'm like, but, okay. So there's a tip for everybody. Just because I went looking, I know. So this stick, this wooden dowel, I think it's 48 inches long. So that also can give you the scale of just how big this is. The yarn that I chose was Lion Brand Ice Cream Roving Yarn, and I love that yarn. Oh my gosh. So it has a really long gradient color repeat that just gently fades into the next color. And you can see that not only in the fringe, how there's that gentle, like it just goes from light to dark. And you can see that in the rows, in the rounds, you can see that in the fringe. It's just this really beautiful, gentle repeat of the color. And it's a very long repeat. So you see a lot of yarn is going to, you know, a lot of stitches, a lot of the fabric are going, you know, you're going to go through a lot of that before it changes. So it's not a quick repeat of color. It's a very long, gradual repeat of color. So I specifically chose it for that reason, because I love the way that gradient looks in this shape. I think it was really beautiful. You can choose other yarn color repeats though. And you can immediately, this pattern is really simplistic to where you can just start the pattern. The pattern itself can be your swatch. Just follow the pattern up to the first couple rounds and you'll immediately be able to tell, do I like the way this looks? Am I going to want to hang this on my wall? Do I like the, you know, how does the color kind of look with this? I use very simplistic stitch repeats and a very simplistic stitch pattern that is going to highlight whatever yarn color you choose. So it does not matter what yarn color you choose. This stitch pattern, this fabric is not going to compete with that in any way. It's really only going to highlight that yarn color. And of course, that's all to your eye. It is going on your wall in your house. So whatever you think looks good, that's what you should make. So there it is. That is the yarn that I chose. I think it is, I just think it's really beautiful. It's this giant statement piece, I think. And again, I really love big pieces of wall art like this. It reminds me of like some macrame that you might see somewhere. So it's kind of like a nod in that direction. Again, we just, like our whole house was sick and we had an unexpected renovation, all of that. So I did have this hanging in my bedroom, and then my bedroom became a construction zone. And so I had to put this in a spare room, but I'm going to be putting it back in my bedroom. So this is what I'm going to wake up to every day. It's going to look like this. So that makes me super, super happy. All right, let's see who else is here and what you guys are saying. It looks like Daisy says, yes, the crochet life has been keeping me busy. So happy to see your face as always. Love your patterns. Well, thank you, Daisy. I know I haven't been on any kind of schedule here in terms of anything really. And so that's why I'm like, you know what? I got time, I got space. I'm just gonna, jump on and talk about what I've been working on in the crochet world. Yeah, sometimes there are just speed bumps in life and it's like, I just can't connect with anyone. I'm sorry. I can't do it. So it's good to see you here, Daisy. Christy from Blackshear, Georgia. Ooh, from Georgia in the house. I lived in Middle Georgia for a while, so I see you, Georgia. I've missed your 2 last pattern sales. Life has got me busy. Well, the thing is that I've got a pattern sale going on right now, like live right now. It's going to be going on until midnight tonight. So you've got a little less than 11 hours. So come on over to the join the group. I've got the link in the video description. You can take advantage of the sale right now. Or like I said, I typically have one sale that I put in my group every single week. So if you miss one week, just stick around. There's going to be another one and probably some new patterns to snag with that sale too. Hello, Lori. Good to see you. Amanda, LOL, it drives me nuts that it bends. I still need to put the fringe on. Of course, she's talking about the triangle wall hanging. I actually thought yours was really cute. Here, let me show you. Okay, is it this way? Okay, here's a wall hanging I made a couple years ago, and my stick right here bends. Do you see that? And it's a very gentle bend. And it's a stick that I found, I don't know, at the coast or something. We went to the coast and it's like piece of driftwood, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna put crochet on it. Because that's where I'm at in my life. So no, I get it though. Like, it's your house. It's got to be like to your eye and all of that. So maybe go to the hardware store and find a straight stick. And whether or not you put fringe on it, again, some people are like, I hate fringe. And some people are like, I love fringe. I'm one of the, that's me. I'm one of those people. You can put tassels on it. You can leave it. It's whatever you want. So whatever you choose to do, that's the right answer. Hello, Chris. Good to see you from Decatur, Illinois. And Christy says, yeah, just heard your shout out. Yeah, shout out to you, Christy. All right, guys, I've got one more pattern that I wanted to share with you guys. Again, it's been out for a minute, but I haven't had a chance to tell you guys about it. So that's what we're going to do right now. And I don't want to say I saved the best for last, because I don't want to say it meaning that, because I don't think it's the best of these three. But I will say that am I more excited about this one than any other one? I just love it. I think it's clever. I think it's beautiful. It is totally my style. I made 3 of them so far. I'm going to make more, but at least I have 3 now. It's an excuse to buy more plants and such. So the pattern is this wall planter. And I don't know if you can tell by these pictures, but once again, I was super inspired. Almost all the things that I've done lately, and there are a few other things that I'm not sharing today. I am so inspired by macrame. So a lot of the crochet designs that I've come up with recently are just me looking through like macrame from like mid-century, and I'm like, what did we do with macrame? Like, can I recreate something similar in crochet? And again, if you guys don't know anything else about me, the one thing, I love crochet and plants. I have plants everywhere. They're everywhere. So the thing that I love about incorporating crochet with my plants is that I have plants like on counters, on tables, on windowsills. And when I saw macrame versions of these wall planters, I was like, hold on. I can put my plants on the walls. And what I love about this is that these 2 plants right here, this is how big the wall hanger is. It's this big. Here's one that I finished and I didn't put the tassel on yet. Hold on. Okay. This is how big it is. See, I made quite a few. It's super tiny. This one took me like maybe 20 minutes to make, and that's tassel and all, and sewing in my end and everything. I really tried very hard to make this look like macrame. So the stitches that I used, using certain aspects of the stitch and then, adding the tassel, I really wanted to have a lot of macrame look to this. I want you to look at it and like, if you crochet, you're like, I see you, I know you're crochet. But if you don't crochet, I want you to see this and just not know, like, ooh, look at that. It's macrame. Like, that's the look I'm going for. I did use Lion Brand yarn macrame. This has been on the shelves in my local yarn stores for a minute. So affordable. I think this one, and there was even a sale. So I paid like $3 for this, honestly. And one of these made 3 of these. So you can make 3 of these for like $3. They're like $1 each, again, with a sale. I mean, honestly. I'm showing you this color because I used all of this color. I made exactly 3 of them. So this thing from the bottom, it's worked from the bottom all the way up. And this is one solid piece of crochet. So there is no fastening off and reattaching or anything crazy like this. This entire thing is worked in continuous rounds. All of it. Every single round of this is worked in continuous rounds. I don't like fastening off and rejoining and doing things like this. So there are two pieces of yarn. There is a beginning tail and an ending tail, and that's it. And then you put the tassel on. So super duper easy. What I love about this macrame yarn, actually, I'm going to be honest. I love this yarn. I think it's beautiful. I love that it looks like rope. It looks a little bit like twine, but it feels very soft. But it's made with like, oh my gosh, I don't know, like 30 strands of yarn, like a lot of yarn. So it splits really easily. So that takes a little bit of patience. You can't muscle through something like this because that's where strands of yarn are going to come out. So this particular yarn, just know if you're going to try this, if you're going to play with this, it just takes patience and it takes finesse, and then you'll get something really beautiful in terms of stitch work like this. And if it does split just a little bit, just know that you're probably, you're being a little, you're handling it like a little too rough. The first project that I made, I think, is this my first one? Maybe. This is my first one. You can see that there's some, maybe just ever so slightly kind of maybe. You can kind of see that there's some strands kind of sticking out because I was really, going a little too tight and hard with it. So this was my first one, and I was like, all right, you don't get the tassel because I'm going to make a few more of you, and then we'll go from there. I don't know if you're going to go on the wall yet, So I did. I made a few more, and then I really got comfortable with it. And by my last one, just the tension was on, the stitch tension, everything, like just really nice. So anyway, just a little tip about using this yarn. I highly recommend it. I think it's beautiful. I think it's very cost effective. Again, one of these made 3 of the wall planters. You got to know what you're getting into, and that way you can, you're not going to be frustrated with it. You'll know how to work through it. Like this yarn. So, okay, so it makes this little plant hanger, and then really you just get a little pot, I love succulents and things like that because, they don't mind, they don't mind my level of care, which is just, I'm going to admire you, but ignore you. So I have a lot of those. So, I see a lot of the little, tiny little plants, flower plant pots, like the succulents and things like that at like Lowe's and Home Depot. They're just a couple of bucks, so I just popped a few of those in mine, and they fit perfect. So, absolutely love this. I have made at least 3 of these, and then I had some other work to do, and then I had to put this on hold for a minute. But this is absolutely one that you can use a big thick yarn like the macrame yarn. You can use t-shirt yarn. You can double or triple up yarn. Or you can kind of like, just kind of see how the gauge and size goes, because really it's all about putting a flower pot in that little pouch that you're making. So it's pretty easy to adjust and measure as you go. So that way you're making what you need to make so that it'll fit. Again, this is a nod to macrame. It's a tiny little project. So cute. I'm so excited about just putting these I can put plants on my walls. Like, I love that so much. What I love about these, again, they go directly on the wall, and I just use like a push pin, like thumbtack. So, you don't need to put big holes in your walls or anything like that. You can put just a little push pin, depending on, what how heavy your plant is and stuff like that. So definitely check it out. But you can see my push pin right here it's clear, and it's holding that just fine. If you are going to put plants on the walls, this is just another tip. Make sure that there isn't a drain. Like, make sure that if your flower pots drain, if they have a draining hole, put them in a pot that doesn't have a draining hole, and that way it'll hold the water, and that way you're not going to get water running down your wall. You don't want that. Ain't nobody got time for that. So definitely do that. Okay. All right. Who else is here? Amanda Woodbury. I have to do fake plants. You know what? I'm not mad about fake plants. I am not opposed to those. the places that I shop, like we go to Lowe's a lot, and every time I go there, I feel like there's a new mini plant. And I'm like, this needs to come home with me. I don't see a lot of fake plants, but I think that if I did, like the little, like it's a plant and it already comes in a pot and here you go. I think that I would probably get those, only because sometimes I get these miniature plants and they kind of grow into something that I'm like, wow, you are now this big thing that I don't know what to do with. Like it doesn't say tiny and cute, or sometimes they just die. So I don't know. I'm an irresponsible plant owner, but anyway, fake plants. If I saw them more, I'd probably get them more. Not a bad idea. Hello, Dawn. Good to see you. Dawn says so cute. Thank you so much, Dawn. I appreciate it. All right, guys, so that's it of the patterns that I published over the last couple weeks that I have not told you guys about. Here are just 3 of them. Just wanted to share some more details and information about them. If you guys want more information on any of these patterns or any of the other, gosh, I think I've published like 12 patterns like this year so far. Just click on the link in the video description to come to my Ravelry shop, and you will find all of them with details and yarn and projects and all of that. And that way you guys can get all the information. And if you have any questions or you need help, just, hit me up. My email address is on all of my pattern documents. So if you need it, just send out an email. All right. Also, make sure you don't miss my group. I do have the link in the video description. Come on over, because again, I've got that 50% off sale that's happening right now. There is a coupon code for it, so make sure you snag that before midnight tonight. I also have some patterns that I'm calling for pattern testers, so make sure you don't miss out on those either, okay? All right, everybody, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for being here. It is a pleasure to be part of the crochet community. It's a pleasure to crochet and just make things, write patterns for things that you guys like. So if you make any of these things, definitely share them. Okay. All right, everybody. See you next time. Peace, love, crochet. Bye-bye.